Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale, and today we are joined here by Hurma. He is a Russian pro, and right now with this deck, he is #1 in the entire world. Hopefully, he can stay that way until the end of the season. So we are joined. I'm so excited to have him on. Never had him on the channel before. I've had the original Nova Matty on the channel before, but this is Hurma, again, my first Russian pro. Really excited. I don't know why, but I love that this is a global game, and I got to meet all kinds of cool players from around the world that I otherwise would have never interacted or met in real life. So anyway, here we go. We're going to start off. We're going to show, by the way, this deck against a variety of different decks. Nothing's going to be the same here to see how we deal with certain situations. This is one of those videos that you might just want to shut me up and put me on mute and enjoy the stellar A+ gameplay. Okay. Don't put me on mute, but I wouldn't blame you if you did. Either way, we're going to see how he handles all of these different decks. So he was caught. He actually sent the Hog in over there into the Elixir Collector. Certainly, with a Three Musketeer deck, you do not want to allow them to maintain or gain the Elixir advantage through the Elixir Pump. So always be aggressive. If you don't have Rocket, for whatever reason, go ahead and send that Hog in right into the Elixir Collector. If you have Rocket, make sure you save it for the Elixir Pump and use it every single time. Don't save it for the Three Musketeers. So here we go, another pump, and here's the Rocket again. This time we are ready for that pump. So why are we going to handle this matchup? So far, we've taken a little bit of damage to the right tower, well, Hurma has, and we haven't even touched his towers. So let's see how he goes about this now that he knows what deck he's going up against. So Bo Saba on the bottom there from Sandstorm, representing, drops the Ice Golem, and then he drops the Three Musketeers in front of the tower, trying to evade the Rocket before Hurma has a chance to cycle back to it. We go ahead and send the Miner in, but we talked about this in previous videos, guys. If you're going to play the Princess, it's very, very important. It's paramount that you protect her whenever possible. Obviously, against spells, you're not going to be able to protect her. But you're playing the Princess in this deck, make sure you protect her, even if it means wasting 3 Elixir. Well, it's not wasted. Using 3 Elixir to drop down a Goblin Gang, like Hurma just did there. So now the Princess is going to get a couple hits on that right tower. We're going to block that Bandit with a Knight here. So now that we know what deck he's playing, we're going to go aggressive here. So here comes the anticipatory log, ready for those goblins. It just astounds me how these pro players know exactly what their opponent has in hand at all times, and that's how you can have those stellar predictive plays. Okay, Ice Golem on, or excuse me, Ice Spirit on the Miner, and we were able to stop all that rest of the spam units coming down the lane with the Knight and Goblin Gang. Here we go again with the Hog. This time, only 1 hit, just barely, but remember, guys, all we need to do is take that right tower down to Rocket range, and it's game over. So we just need to keep getting chip damage. And here it comes. Look at that tornado. Pulls the Musketeers into the opposite lane, and there it is. That tower is now within Rocket range. All we have to do is some soft defense here, mostly on the right lane. Let the Musketeers get some chip damage in the left. Get enough Elixir for the Rocket, and that will put this one out of reach for Bo Saba. And here it comes. There's the Rocket, and that's going to be game over. So really well played there. I really especially love that tornado there, pulling the Musketeers into the opposite lane, allowing that Hog to go ham on that right tower. Okay, so here we go. Let's see how we face off against Moose here. I've seen Moose a lot. Never had him on the channel, but he's one of the best players from MIT clan, I believe, out of China. Anyway, we can see here we're going to go against a Golem deck. So a Golem beatdown deck, not a difficult matchup for a Hog deck. Let's see how, again, Hurma handles this matchup. So again, he sends the Hog in really aggressively right at that pump. Meanwhile, he gets a little bit of chip damage. Not a hit, unfortunately, with the Hog on the right tower, but the Spear Goblins, the new and improved Spear Goblins, do get a significant amount of chip damage. And look at that. After all of that, it goes to show you only 1 Elixir down. So even though we went super aggressive and the opponent had a pump, 1 elixir down in the exchange. We'll take that all day, every day, considering the damage that we got on that right tower. Okay, he drops the Golem in back. We don't have Hog Cycle. What are we going to do? Well, we drop Princess in the opposite lane. Princess is going to have to be dealt with now at this point by Moose, or she's going to get a ton of damage on that left tower. So he's forced to use a Bandit on the Princess. Meanwhile, look at the Tornado, how handy this is going to come in here. So the Golem and the Night Witch coming down the lane, beautiful Tornado, and the Princess right in front of the King Tower there. That's perfect defensive positioning there. Is going to clean up those bats that were spawned from the Night Witch after she died, and meanwhile the Golem doesn't get a ton of damage on that right lane. Let's face it, that looked like it could be a lot worse than it actually was. So here we go again, Hog Rider in the right lane, remaining pretty aggressive in the downtime with the Hog Rider. And what we're doing is we're being aggressive. At the same time, we're forcing Moose to use some of his elixir so he can't save up for another Golem or pump. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're forcing him to have to keep using elixir to react and stop this steady onslaught of troops that we have kind of going at him on that right tower. Look at the right tower is already down to 1344. Remember, the opponent has poison. We have rocket, so we have a much lower threshold to clear. We just need 1 more hog hit, and then we will be golden in rocket range. So here comes the Lumberjack. We're going to play the Knight in the pocket to intercept. Here comes a Golem, a little bit short on time here, so Moose opts to play the Golem in front of the King Tower rather than behind it. Remember, here comes the Hog. Hog only needs 1 hit. He's easily going to get 1 hit. We're going to go ahead and use a Tornado there and allow that Princess to get some extra splash damage from way back in safety there. Well, not safety for long thanks to that poison, but look at this. Thanks to those princesses, guys. Those princesses pretty much did heavy lifting there defensively in this entire match. At this point, Moose is forced to play the Golem at the bridge. Doesn't matter. At this point, there's not enough time left in the game. Hog's gonna finish off that right tower. Boom, baby. That is another one in the books for Hurma. You can see how he's playing this deck. It's not super aggressive, but he's identifying what his opponent has for counters, and then he's exploiting whenever he possibly can. Against a heavier deck like a Golem deck, well, in that situation, he was making sure that he kept the pressure applied throughout the entire match. That way, there was no time for Moose to press the reset button and get a monster push against him. So here we go against Clash Bash. Clash Bash, known as definitely one of the best ladder players in the game. I've had him on the channel before. He's a really good player. So Nova Matty quickly recognizes that he's playing against a bait deck, a log bait deck, a spell bait deck. So what he does here is he starts off with a very aggressive rocket. Now, we said in the beginning of today's video that we're going to talk about the rocket and how we want to play that card. Nice Ice Spirit, by the way, allowing our princess to survive there. So the thing about the rocket in this deck is really important to note here is that you don't want to start out with aggressive rockets and rocket cycle like we did there at the beginning of this match against every deck. That's really specific to other decks that have rockets, mainly bait decks, and of course maybe mortar decks as well. But when it comes to a ladder match where you only have 4 possible minutes and you know the match, you can both defend each other really well. You know the match might come into a draw situation. Oftentimes, the player who starts their rocket cycle first will end up winning the match. Now, there's a huge caveat as well, though. The huge caveat is you can't send the rocket unless you have a good hand to defend after you launch the rocket. What does that mean? It means that you don't want to send in the rocket when you have, for example, I don't know, a log and a hog and what else do we have that's a crappy defensive card? And I guess a knight or something like that. Like, you really want to make sure you have at least 3 solid defensive cards, or at least the next card up is a solid defensive card before you make an aggressive play like that. This deck, it's not that big of a deal, but I wouldn't necessarily always launch the rocket when I had hog in hand. Of course, he does just that as I say it. Just be aware, guys. Most importantly, don't overextend. So that was a good log in the right lane. The knight is going to get some chip damage, but he holds on to that tornado to prevent any big damage onto the left tower. Meanwhile, he's going to take out the princess, I think. No! I thought he was going to take out the princess with the knight there. That was a good princess save move here. How is he going to deal with this princess, guys? Is he going to log? No, he has to log the goblin barrel. In the meanwhile, I think, okay, he's able to cycle back to the knight there. So, hey, at this This point in the match, things are pretty even Steven right now. 1627 to 1646 damage on the right towers. It's going to be a 1-0 game either way. So who is going to end up picking up the victory here? We'll have to see. I think we know who it's going to be. The #1 player in the world right now. So here comes the log, being very patient, using the log only for the Goblin Barrel, never for the Princess here, except for a situation like that last time where he had to take care of the Goblin Gang in the night. He had nothing better in hand to deal with it. And again, not able to cycle to the log, but we do have Goblin Gang that can answer a Goblin Barrel without taking any damage from the Goblin Barrel. It's a great 3-for-3 trade, but it's not really a trade because our troops move on. It's a hard counter. So between the Goblin Gang and between the log in this deck and even the Tornado, we have plenty of bait counters. Not a problem with this Tornado version of this Hog deck. Another reason why Tornado is so great in the deck. And there it goes, a rocket. Because we got those early rockets, what did we get? 4, 5 rockets on that right tower throughout the course of the match? It all adds up, guys, and that's what ended up picking up the victory for us on that match. So here we go. Let's go up against Nova Botcham, basically the world's best-known Lava Loon player, certainly on ladder. I don't think anybody could disagree with me there. Let's see how Hurma handles him here in this matchup. So we know when you go against Nova Botcham on ladder, you know what he's playing. So we have to go into this match assuming that Hurma knows exactly what Nova Botcham is playing, every single one of the 8 cards. So here we go again. Knight played in the right lane, followed by a Goblin Gang. We have Princess able to do a little bit of chip damage to that Mega Minion, but remember, guys, we want to keep the Princess alive. So what are we going to do? We're going to play a Hog Rider. We want to keep the Princess alive, even if it means sacrificing a 4 elixir Hog Rider. Of course, we will get a lot of damage onto that Tombstone, so it's all kind of one back at the end of the day. So here comes an Ice Spirit doing a little bit of tanking for the Princess and forcing Botcham to use his Fireball against the Princess and Ice Spirit. Meanwhile, we have a Princess ready to go in the other lane. Now, early on in this match, we're able to identify what spells the opponent has. All he has is Fireball and Zap. Well, that's not all he has. It's a decent combo, but once we have Fireball out of rotation, we know that he obviously we can be a little bit more aggressive with our Goblin Gang behind the Knight, as you just saw there. Even if he's able to clean it up, it's still an opportunity that you guys can capitalize on, like Hurma, or try to capitalize on, going ahead and using the aggressive Knight and Goblin Gang when they don't have their big spell in hand. Of course, that's out of the window if they have a log. Just keep that in mind. But if they have Zap, not a bad choice. So here we go, a Fireball on the right tower. So far, Botcham has a slight lead here. But, by the way, guys, trying to get Nova Botcham back on the channel. He said once he has a break from school, he'd be more than happy to come on. So stay tuned for that for a Lava Hound expert. He's always the top Lava Hound player on ladder in the game. So here we go. At this point, a little bit more damage onto the left tower with another Hog hit from Hurma. And here comes the Hog. Played the Hog again a little bit defensively there. The Hog's going to get one hit on that Tombstone, but not a lot of value. Meanwhile, here comes the Lava Hound, the max Lava Hound coming down the left lane. How is he going to deal with it? He plays the Knight at the bridge. He plays the Goblin Gang at the bridge. He plays a Hog at the bridge. He goes all out, essentially, in that left lane, and then pulls everything together for the Princess to kind of snipe. A good play there, and that Goblin gets a lot of damage. At this point, we need something, though. This looks really bad, but look at that beautiful Ice Spirit, causing that Mega Minion to divert a little bit to the right, buying him just enough time to cycle back to the Goblin Gang to help defend against those pups. Meanwhile, there's another Lava Hound coming in the left lane, but check out that Knight, guys. Knight, lower left-hand corner. The Knight got like 3 hits on that tower. That means that we are in rocket range, baby. Here comes the rocket. Ice Spirit delaying things just slightly and getting the victory again, man. That rocket comes in key. But you guys saw how he's able to use the Tornado and the Princess together. The Hog, sometimes even a sacrificial Hog, if it means protecting the tower or the Princess. What a great player. I hope you guys enjoyed that gameplay as much as I did. Fantastic, fantastic job. We'll all be rooting for Hurma, my first my first Russian pro. Botcham is German, so I'm getting it all confused. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the description below. Guys, thank you, and as always, take care, guys.